Alright, geezers, welcome to Pink Floyd, the only podcast where we watch every movie ever made to see if it syncs up with Pink Floyd's 1973 magnum opus, The Dark Side of the Moon. My name, as the prophecy is shared, is Gareth Blackler, and with me, as the prophecy is shared, is James Barron.
The prophecy be true, Gareth. It is I, James Barron, here, ready to record a podcast with my friend. I'm bringing a strong fantasy energy to this podcast. I've altered my voice slightly. I'm not going to talk this way the whole time.
Committed to this?
No, absolutely not. How's it going? We're here to record a podcast. We're getting all fantasy on it because it's King Arthur, Legend of the Sword this week.
Oh, yes.
A fantasy action flick by Guy Ritchie.
This is the Pink Floyd first, in that neither of us had heard of this film.
Yes. This film was supplied by a fan to us. We take requests, as we have to cover every movie eventually, so we may as well, if you've got a movie that you want us to cover, go ahead and drop it on Twitter, just message one of us, whatever it is. Yeah, get in touch.
Yeah.
We'd love to...
Oh, please.
We'd love to have a wee yarn about your favourite film, such as King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. We hadn't heard of this. No. I was amazed to hear that this existed. It just sounds like it sounds like something that's like happened in a fever dream, you know? Like Guy Ritchie, famous for like Lock, Stock and Snatch and things like that.
Yeah. But
more recently, I guess, he did the Sherlock Holmes films and things like that. So he has branched into like genre kind of movies. So it's not unprecedented, but like this still feels out of his wheelhouse quite considerably.
Yeah.
Like at least Sherlock Holmes, there's still like old England vibes, you know. And I guess like King Arthur is old England-ish. I don't think King Arthur is...
some of the oldest England.
Yeah, it's not officially... I don't think King Arthur's actually from England. I think it's like one of those old wives' tales or something. Like it's a mix-up.
Yeah.
Because it's like the Britons...
I half read something like that.
Yeah. But, yes, but anyway, in this reality, it's definitely England. People mention England quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
everyone's Cockney, as far as I can tell, by not hearing their voices and only reading their subtitles.
Almost all the characters are Cockney. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like very intense, very Guy Ritchie-ish scenes. He doesn't sort of hold back on his style throughout this movie,
which I was thankful for actually. Because I'm not the biggest fantasy boy.
Yeah.
So like, I was happy to see some like Guy Ritchie-isms, like unreliable storytelling, like playing with editing and all that fancy stuff.
Yeah, big schemes and things happening.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. It's, very much...
I decided, not knowing anything about this film, that I was going to go in assuming it was Guy Ritchie's masterpiece.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll say that really helped. Like, because maybe I watched it in two parts, and the first part I wasn't doing that. The second part I was, and it made it much more of a hoot.
I love the 2-act structure you've given this. It's very exciting.
It wasn't even lining up with the album. It was just when I suddenly was too busy and had to pause it.
Fair enough. All good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, oh man, it's such a weird mix of like full-on fantasy action movie and also like heist movie. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good time, guaranteed. But I feel like we should just dive in. I want a couple of provisos about this movie. It didn't make its budget back, which is always a bad sign. It had a pretty big budget of like 175 million, which I guess was for all the CGI scenes, etc. And also, it's not rated very well. It's got a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. But hey, we're going to form our own opinions, give it a rating of our own, by the metric of how it syncs with an album. So,
yeah, nothing to do with how it plays as a movie.
How good it is, yeah.
No.
That would be crazy. Why?
No, who does that?
No. All right.
It was also supposed to be the start of a 6-film franchise.
Yes, ambitious to if he has it's him and James Cameron that have like these crazy, he's got like all 6 scripts written out, ready to go if this one was a big hit, and now they're just all trashed. Oh, what a shame.
he wanted it to be this whole King Arthur cinematic universe, which is a pretty bold move as well, because, like, I don't know anyone who cares that much about King Arthur.
Yeah, no, it's like in today's day and age, I feel like it's one of those ones that's fell by the wayside. Everyone knows King Arthur, but like I don't know if they have super fans of the series or whatever, like old school, old tales. It's very old.
Old tales. And also the fact like knights are kind of, you know, the Crusades and all the like icky stuff that came with that. I feel like the world doesn't really want to see that.
Yeah, not really. Kind of moved past it as a culture, I suppose, or I hope we have. But yeah, like we'll see what that. But yeah, it's like hyped up to the nth degree in this. All the excitement of the fantasy times and not very much set in reality, which I'm all for. So
yeah. How did it work as a fantasy boy? How much did you like it? Entirely as a fantasy boy.
Okay, from the like fantasy perspective, I bloody love this film. There's so much silly, over-the-top fantasy stuff going on that has me incredibly excited. I chose this film based on one thing that the fan in question said, which was that it starts out with giant war elephants, which I'm so on board with. But yeah, this whole film plays like it just plays deep into my loves of over the top fantasy stuff. So
oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
yay.
So I'm ready to talk about it. Let's dive on in, Garrett.
Let's go.
Yes, speak to me.
So, over the top of like some dark, twisted versions of the Warner Brothers logos.
Yes, embers flying around.
You know you're in for some dark times.
Yes.
Yeah,
some very Dark Souls energy at the start of this film. We pan up on like a big ass tower which engulfs in flame, and that like that happens as soon as Breathe starts, which is great. Yeah. I'm already in safe hands here. And then yes, the aforementioned attack on Camelot by the mage sorcerer Mordred and his mega elephants. I'm a big fan of this. Yeah. I'm very into it. These elephants are huge. They're like hundreds of stories tall, and they're thrown around.
And apparently, like as soon as you go to dark magic, you just get given elephants. Like there's some sort of weird flashback within this flashback. Where,
we see him like summoning them out of rock or something, which is pretty sweet. But
they are big elephants.
Yeah, I can see the temptation for that power.
Yeah,
it's working out well for him. We even see later on Mordred as like pre-corruption, and he's like just sort of a weird druidy guy wearing like white fur rather than mucky brown fur. So that we know he's a goodie at this stage.
Yeah. It's all about outfits back then.
Yeah, man. That's absolutely. There's a lot of good outfits here.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, we're just getting some rad fantasy shit at the start here.
Yeah.
Like some decent sync-ups here with just like people exploding from fire magic here alongside like keyboard trills and breathe.
Yeah.
That's working for me. Yeah, some like
the slide guitars sort of sound like how elephants, the noise they make when they're like trumpeting as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very into it.
They're just crashing through the walls and stuff here, and then like barbarians are coming out of like little I don't know what you'd call them, like off the backs of the elephants. The like drawbridges fall, and the barbarians are running out as soon as On the Run starts.
Yeah, they're on the running out.
Subedivir here, we don't know his name, but he's here as like part of the King's Court. His war cry is just the word war. He just yells out war, and everyone's like, yeah, all right.
That's what we're doing.
Which is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
but anyway, Mordred gets taken care of pretty handily by Uther Pendragon here. Using Excalibur. He's got it, right? The magical sword of legend. Yes, he plays the father of Arthur here, Uther. Uther and Arthur.
Yeah.
Not at all confusing. And yeah, then we like everything's fairly resolved. We're getting some like dissension in the King's Court. We're seeing like old mate Jude Law is here. He's playing Vortigern, who is Uther's brother.
You're very good at
yeah,
remembering
they're
these names.
Oh, mate, this is my shit. I'm deep in the fantasy worlds. Like, dumb fantasy names are one of my great loves. Yeah, so they're like, I think they're burning pyres of mages here. Like killing all the mages is what Vortigern's all about. He's afraid of the magical powers of the land or whatever. It's not fully explained. A lot of this is cut really haphazardly together, is one thing I want to say about this movie. It kind of...
Absolutely.
It feels like 1 2-hour long movie trailer, in a way. Like...
Yeah.
There are, like, more coherent actual scenes later on, but, like, some parts of this movie just read as, like, a bunch of fun action sequences just edited together for immediate entertainment, you know?
Yeah, which I was all about, but, like, I suppose in a way it is as well, because it's supposed to set up 6 movies.
Yeah. It's just...
So this is the trailer for the next 6.
I guess so, yeah. Like, look forward to more of this.
Yeah. Why is he doing that? Find out in movie 8.
Oh, man. I would love it. I kind of wish this had taken off as a series because it's just so dumb. It's like very schlocky entertainment, like action entertainment. But like, I'm all for that. That's fine. It's not a good film, and I can see why it's not very popular. But it is silly and cool. So there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to talk a bit about Jude Law being he switches to being a baddie here. I'd never pick Jude Law as being a baddie.
Really?
Nah, he like plays. He's worked with Guy Ritchie before this, in that he was Watson in Sherlock Holmes, both those films. But yeah, he plays it really well. I would say, like the over the top anime villain, basically. Yeah,
I don't know. I think he's a baddie quite a lot. Like,
yeah, I don't know much about him.
It's often in the wee surprise way as well. He's like,
oh yeah,
oh actually,
oh okay. He's sort of like a Lancer archetype for me, and that like he's like not on the... He's on the good guy side, but he is like complains the whole time, or is like... Yeah. Like, he's like...
Okay.
Yeah, that's the vibe that I get from him as an actor. Like, not a leading man, but like on the good guy side still, you know? Like, like best supporting actor, Jude Law, is what I would say.
I doubted myself on how much he plays villains. I've searched Jude Law baddie. Roadshow.com.au. 3 times Jude Law was the ultimate villain.
Okay.
And the first one is King Arthur Legend of the Sword.
There you go. They've got their own baddie board.
Yeah.
Put them up there.
And then the next one is the Young Pope.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Okay. I haven't seen the Young Pope, but
No,
I imagine if we do that next, that'd be pretty great.
Yeah. Isn't it a TV show?
Is it? I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll find out.
There's no way to find out.
No, unfortunately not. You can Google it, listeners.
Yeah, you can.
We don't have time. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, speaking of time, clocks are going off, and
nice.
nothing majorly significant aligns with that, unfortunately. Vortigern's doing like a bit of murder. He murders his wife to make a deal with some sirens. You know,
these are the octopus ladies, right?
Yes. These are the squiddy ladies. They're sirens officially in the script. I love this take on sirens. I think like
same
because they're typically like fish people, but like them being like big. There's like a big Ursula from Little Mermaid one, and then there's 2 like younger ones that are swimming around. I love this visual for the sirens. It gives them a more sinister edge, which I like a lot.
It's like really creative, eh?
Yeah.
The only issue was I had just finished the night before reading The Pisces by... I'm staring at it and now I'm having to type it, by Melissa Broder.
Okay.
Which I didn't realise was mostly incredibly detailed mermaid sex.
Oh, alright.
Yeah. So
okay.
I brought that book to work to read like during my lunch break, and my boss was like, "Oh, what's that book about?" And I was like, not what I thought it was going to be about.
Some hot fishy lovin'. Love it.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. Well,
in this book, the mermaid tale kind of starts a little lower, if that gives you any idea of what it's about.
Okay. That's too much information. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. Is this a family show?
All the podcasts have explicit tags for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh. And then when these mermaid ladies showed up, I was just like, oh no. Jude Law, no. Jude.
Everything appears to be above board in terms sexually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But yes, he's doing some murders in exchange for some like demonic power, as you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poor lady gets speared, his wife, and then we see Arthur's mum gets speared by this like hell warrior, who we don't.
Yeah, sort of like the Horned King from the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, very very similar vibe. It's got like a really cool always on fire cloak, which I am a big fan of. She gets like speared by like a throwing spear here, and then we immediately see the title card, which is great stuff. And then Arthur's like young baby Arthur's floating away on the boat downriver, gets picked up by some ladies at the docks, and then he gets raised in a whorehouse, as you do, which is like a different take on King Arthur's origin story.
Yeah,
which is cool. Okay. It's fine.
Yeah, a very sped up montage as well. Like everything's just literally being put on like 2 times or 3 times.
Yes, this is super Guy Ritchie. He does this a whole lot, where it's just like fast motion montage of things happening, and also overt sound effects through this as well, which we can't hear.
Oh yeah.
Way over the top. But yeah, this is his sort of signature thing, having either like narration over a scheme playing out, or like very fast-paced montage. This playing over the like chill ass time signature change in time is kind of weird. This is the first.
This is the first movie we've had where a guy is shirtless and just punching his own chest to Pink Floyd.
What was that? Sorry, I'm disappearing.
James disconnected from rage.
Oh mate, I rage quit from this podcast. Always.
You're like, mermaid sex I'm okay with, but if a man's punching his own chest, ugh.
Oh yeah, his weird like punch dance. That's I don't know what this is about. A lot of
apparently he was just doing it, and Guy Ritchie was rolling camera, and that's the shot they kept.
Yeah, fair enough. He's really putting in. He's really going for it, so I would use it.
Yeah.
If I got that on film, because it's like going for like a solid like 20 seconds at least.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. A lot of the IMDb trivia for this movie is just about how buff this actor got. Like about him like challenging himself to do over 500 push-ups a day and stuff, and I don't care about that machismo. There's a lot of like machismo kind of stuff in this movie actually. Yeah. It's an overtly macho movie, which I'm not a huge fan of.
Absolutely.
But I guess,
do any female characters have names? Because the mage doesn't.
No, this is another Guy Ritchie thing, and that like no female characters with names, no female character over the age of 30. Like it's the sirens are just the sirens. Maid Maggie has a character name coming up.
Oh yeah,
she's Maid Magdalene, is that right? Mary Magdalene?
I think
no.
That's from the Bible.
Yeah, it's not that.
That's from Guy Ritchie's next film, The Bible.
Anyway, there's Maid Maggie has a name, I guess.
Yeah.
But not a major role.
Yeah.
Anyway, the screamy punch dance is going at the end of time here. Very good. He's having some dreams about his parents' deaths as soon as Great Gig starts up, which is like a more somber kind of feeling. This like flashback plays, I think, 5 or 6 times in varying length.
You get slightly more and more, but they still show you most of it that you've already seen each time.
Yeah, you kind of get the picture, but it's very important to Arthur's character, I guess. This it was a pivotal moment in his life, so we see it quite a bit.
And he's like blacked it out, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Each time he remembers more, and he needs to like go through the legend of the sword to remember it.
Yes, it's the only way. The prophecy. There is a prophecy.
Oh, he's back
as well. Like the sirens talk about like how you cannot deny the return of the king. You know, that kind of vibe. Yeah. That's happening in the very next scene actually, because the water like recedes, and reveals the sword and the stone here.
Yeah.
Excalibur is just wedged in a stone, and that he's old Vortigern's like, oh no, what does this mean? And this,
oh shit!
And the sirens are like, don't worry, it's fine. But if you want some help, you know the price. So he'd have to do another murder of someone close to him in order to get their help again. Anyway, we're back at the old whorehouse here.
Yeah,
we're dealing with some black legs, which is the name of the like guardsman in this world. I love that. a lot of good names actually. Oh mate, Lord Bolton is here. I just want to look up. I don't know his actor name. There's quite a few. There's two that I can recognize. There's possibly three people from Game of Thrones in this film.
Yes.
Yes. So the guy that plays Jack's Eye, the like head of these guardsmen, is Lord Bolton. In Game of Thrones. Which is cool. And also,
he's some sort of lord, I assume.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And,
this is how I learn about Game of Thrones, from you.
Okay. I'll give you the Cliff's Notes later. Goose Fat Bill is also from Game of Thrones here.
Yes, he's also in The Wire.
Yes, he's Littlefinger in Game of Thrones, for perspective.
He's character I can't remember in The Wire.
Okay, great. And yeah, he's hiding out in the brothel here, like, just hiding from these guys, but he's notorious for getting away, and that's why he's called Goose Fat Bill.
Goose Fat?
The funniest name.
A lot of other things get away. They didn't have to call him that.
I guess it's like he's covering himself in goose fat and like squeezing through jail bars or whatever, but like maybe that's something that happened.
That's the reason.
Yeah. But everyone has really dumb, overt nicknames throughout. It's amazing that Arthur gets away without one. But yeah, anyway, he gets captured, and then Arthur's like, "You're in good hands. It's all good." So yeah. Later on, he weasels his way out of it, so it's fine.
He goose fats his way out.
Yeah. This next...
And we get
Oh yeah, go.
Oh sorry.
No. Go.
Oh, we're just about to say the same thing, aren't we?
Probably.
This very stylish Guy Ritchie. Arthur's getting like interrogated, and it's kind of going through all his tricks. Like there's rewinds as he has to correct his story, there's sped up things. We're meeting all kinds of characters, just having a lovely day.
Yep. Heaps going on here. Yes, this is probably the most Guy Ritchie-ass bit in the whole movie, with the like running commentary being provided by his boys, and also Jack's Eye here. Just covering this like weird encounter with the Vikings, etc. Just like one day's events. But yeah, this feels like it's ripped straight out of like Lock, Stock or something, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. This is Guy Ritchie at his most like comfortable so far.
Absolutely, like, he's playing into
settled into his groove.
Yeah, his groove, absolutely.
Another
thing to note is this is where we get a whole bunch of like crazy names, character names. There's Chinese George, which is really bad.
I wasn't too into that.
No, not so good. Flat Nose Mike, and the crew, Arthur's like group of people are called Wet Stick, Backlack, and Blue Boy. Yeah, Wet Stick and Backlack are in the room, and Blue Boy is Backlack's son. For context. You actually learn quite a bit about all these characters in like a really short sequence. So like credit to Guy Ritchie, like that's actually pretty good filmmaking.
It's good economical. It's kind of similar to Speed Racer though, in that it's like
actually
there's a lot of this film is like, is it a flash forward? Is it happening? What's going on?
Yeah, or like all this time stuff is playing out simultaneously at a very fast pace. Yeah. So quite similar. So the one bad thing about this story is that the Vikings are under protection of the king. As we transition into the organ intro of Us and Them, the like sad reveal that like, oh, Arthur's got himself in trouble here. Not so good.
This is kind of like, because it's when it kind of stops being a Guy Ritchie film again and goes back to being a fantasy film. Yeah. Exactly kind of when the kind of fun like woos of money ramp up and like the sad organ. Prog rocky organ comes back. Yeah, we're like, it's transitioning out of the like the fun excitement of money into Us and Them. Yeah, match is pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, so next is just Vortigern being like a baddie. He's like, he can turn this candle on with magic. I think that's like a holdover from the sirens. Like, he doesn't have a lot of magical power,
later on he like summons a fireball, but like
Yeah.
yeah, he just like flicks this candle on as to show that he's still a magical boy. I don't know. It's not super important, but I just thought it was strange.
No.
Yeah, we're getting more flashbacks to the parents' deaths and stuff. And then, yeah, Arthur wakes up and he's got a backlash there. And he's like, you gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
The Black Plagues are after you. So he, like, escapes, but then is caught by some other unrelated guardsmen and, like, shipped off to get branded and tested. I kind of like this. And that, like, Vortigern is, like, working his way through the male population of the like, certain age to try and find the king that will, like, usurp him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, branding them when they're proven to be, like, not the heir or whatever, you know.
Yeah,
kind
just
of
regular Joes.
Kind of a cool take. Yeah, but they ship him off. And there's, like, all these slaves.
He's on a boat where everyone's wearing black and blue when Pink Floyd sing it.
Hey, pretty good.
Hey.
Into that.
Yeah, he ends up, I think, on an island where they're testing. No, it's obviously in the castle. They wouldn't have moved that stone that far.
Yeah, I think it's a short trip, like, downriver from the other side of Camelot to the, like, castle on the coast part of Camelot, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, no, they're a different place, actually. Like, Arthur's, like, places like Bretonia or something? Like the...
Londonium.
Londinium, that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a short trip to Camelot. That's where he's going. And, yeah, there's bloody slaves pinned up in cages here. I think these are the slaves for the Vikings later on, but it's not really important why they're here. Just prove that Vortigern's a baddie. Yeah, Arthur, like, pushes his way to the front for no real reason, and who should we see here?
Oh,
Head
my
of
goodness.
This testing facility is David Beckham. David Beckham's
Professional
here.
footballer. David Beckham.
Not a professional actor.
Playing a character for...
He's playing a character called
nose?
Trigger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It's incredible stuff. His high little voice, like, telling Arthur how to grab the sword, very entertaining.
This made a lot of people mad, because, like, after I'd watched it, I needed to understand how the world felt about this film, and a lot of reviews were like, David Beckham ruins the most emotional scene.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't immediately recognize him. I had to go back and, like, stare at him for a little longer and be like, I think that's David Beckham.
Yeah, he sort of blends into that role. I just recognized his, like, high voice. And I was like, oh, that's him. Okay.
Oh, it's Davey B.
Yeah, that's our boy. The footballer.
Yeah.
He's here.
Do you think David Beckham listens to Pink Floyd?
I feel like he definitely does, yeah. He would be a fan, for sure.
He definitely loves, like, Another Brick in the Wall.
Yeah. He's big into that. Playing it before games and stuff, he would have.
Yeah.
We can conclusively say it.
Tries to get his kids to sing the kids' parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. What more do you need?
They're not into it, though.
Nah.
It's so sad.
Because they want education.
Yeah. Educate us, Dad, please.
Yeah, please.
We don't want to become footballers. We want to be scholars. No. Oh, it's a sad story now. Oh no. Anyway, we cut him back. He grabs the sword. It reacts to him. There's all kinds of, like, earthquakes, and his eyes start glowing and stuff. And this is ramping up as the vocal and the sax solo is kicking off, which is pretty sweet.
Oh yeah.
Very good. But yeah, he passes out.
Sings.
Very good sings. Yeah, he passes out.
Isolate that as a sting.
Oh God, please don't. I mean, do what you want. Yeah, so passes out. Vortigern captures him and just takes him to his cell, and then, like, has a wee chat with him. He finds out, like, a whole bunch of stuff about him, like steals all his money and raids the whorehouse and everything, using his king power. And he asks Arthur what gave him the drive to continue on, and Arthur, like, can't really say at this point, but that comes up later. Yes, and then we get the mage introduction here.
Yeah.
Yes, played by...
I like the mage.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I like her vibe. She's very ethereal, mysterious throughout. Can control animals and things. Very good.
Yeah. Like her eyes become animal eyes, and
Yeah.
she's suddenly a hawk, controlling a hawk.
I'm into it. Some more rad fantasy stuff that I'm all for.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, they're gonna rescue Arthur after some theatrics with some animals coming up. Yeah, so we get brain damage now as the doors to Vortigern's tower open up. He's like blackmailing him with some kidnapped friends. Some of the like whores he's caught. He cuts one of their throats.
Yeah.
I want to ask, does Vortigern do a Nazi salute here? He does like a hand action that could be pretty similar.
It's like, it's close to that, but it's also like a weird kind of synchronized dance he's got everyone doing.
Yeah, he makes everyone do it. I think it's supposed to evoke the Nazi salute, but and be a bit like overt, like, this guy's a bad boy. he's a nasty evil man, if you didn't catch that. It
does sync up perfectly with a nice little drum fill though, so
alright, we'll take it. So it brings a sinister energy to that. He does a bad guy speech about fear as a motivator. This like classic cartoon villain stuff. I'm pretty sure like Voldemort does the exact same speech.
Yeah, I feel like Loki does as well.
Yeah,
in Avengers 1.
Same kind of thing.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Yeah, old mate Mercia is here. Is like the second in command to Vortigern, and he puts on like a show for the crowds, basically painting Arthur as like this false idol who is like, here's your born king. He's rubbish. He won't even take the sword, you know? Anyway, he puts his head in the stocks as Eclipse starts. We're right at the end of the album, and the mage intervenes here, taking over some animals. Like, a whole bunch at once. Like, the eagle, and then, like, some horses start freaking out, and the dogs start freaking out. Yeah. But yeah.
I like that the one that does the most damage is just this eagle kind of flapping its wings near people, and people are like, oh, shit.
Whoa, look out for this boy. Ugh. Oh! Is like on top of the sword, so he can't go and get it. It's like, get away. Yeah.
Sure.
But yeah, it prevents the execution and it allows for an escape. Just as the album ends, they like jump off the cliff right as the playthrough 1 ends, and we get the heartbeats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then
And so we're round 2 for pretty much Act 2 when Arthur's in his like new, more magic world.
Exactly, yeah. We're like, it starts up, they're like journeying to the like hideout bit. Breathe is playing over like some explanations about like mages, how there's not many left, etc. like that, and some like some sweeping shots, helicopter shots of like countryside. Very nice. Then like Goose Fat Bill's here, he's back, he escaped. He's chilling with Sir Bedivere. I don't think Sir Bedivere like gets a name until like right at the end of the film, but here he is.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But anyway, yeah, he escaped. Easy as. Classic Goose Fat Bill. What a guy.
Yeah. It's what happened was they were like, okay, what do you want your last meal to be before we execute you? And he was like, I want a big bowl of goose fat. And they're like, okay, that can't go wrong.
That's weird, but okay.
And then he slipped his way out, and they're like, oh, he tricked us again.
That's one oily boy. He got away. There's like a no goose fat policy. There's a sign up in all the prisons with like a goose. No goose. Pretty great.
And he's like, what about duck fat? And like, okay.
All right.
Gets away again.
Various fats as his escape methods.
Various fats bill.
Yeah. Doesn't have the same ring. They've like raided his home and killed everyone, I guess. It's really bad.
Yeah. Not great. Not fun.
Yeah. But yeah, they're trying to get him to use the sword, but he like just passes out again. Goose Fat Bill gives him a good slap in the face before this. Pretty ruthless. The sword fight that they have is also really terrible. This is a trope of fantasy movies where like the sword fighting's awful. They just like always like really big, wide, arcing swings, which I guess is good. Like it looks cool from like what people think sword fighting would be like, but like leaving yourself exposed when you've got a sword is like such a bad idea. Like
Yeah, I thought that.
Yeah.
Do you think it's also maybe like to show Arthur doesn't know how to use the sword yet?
Maybe, but like Goose Fat Bill's doing the same thing. It's just like a
Yeah,
Hollywood sword fighting thing, I think. But yeah, bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Bad sword play,
Yeah.
but hey, that's alright. A lot of other films are guilty of the same sins, so, you know,
Yeah.
you can't ask for too much. Anyway, the mage she starts doing some like magics to figure out what the beef is with Arthur and the sword. She's like scans into his memories or whatever, and then she figures out like, he's not ready to face this one thing in his past, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why the sword's rejecting him, or he's rejecting the sword. That's actually what she says, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so they send him on a perilous quest, Gareth, through the Darklands.
I loved this.
Yeah.
He isn't going to the Darklands. Welcome to the Darklands.
Yep, this sequence, okay, so there's about like 15 cuts in 10 seconds in this like one bit. It is really hard to watch. It's where it's at its most like movie trailer, I think, this sequence.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of really silly fantasy things. There's giant bats, giant snakes.
Yeah.
There's the rodents of unusual size from Princess Bride make an appearance. Yeah.
There's another good little... It might even be the same drum fill. No, it won't be, but there's another good drum fill that plays as soon as he sees a real big bat. And I was like, yeah, that bat loves those drums.
Pretty great, yeah. This is throughout time, because we get the clocks going off as soon as that like insane sequence happens, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
It's a hectic sequence to match the clocks all going off, so...
Oh, yeah.
For it. The idea is that...
I will say with...
No, you go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. I will say, like, the drum fills this whole movie have been really in sync. And I think the reason is... This whole show, we've been saying Nick Mason is the keyboardist for Pink Floyd, and he's the drummer.
Oh, no. We've screwed it up. Our very limited Pink Floyd knowledge has been revealed.
Oh, no. How buff is that? That is not good.
We'll take it. It's fine.
But yeah, he's making his presence known to be like, guys, excuse me. You somehow knew that I liked fast cars, but you didn't know what instrument I played.
Oh, dang. Future boys on the podcast, listen to me. It's the only way.
Yeah.
He's talking to us in the only medium that he can.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. The idea of this traveling to the dark place, whatever it is, Darklands.
The Darklands.
The Darklands, is to break down his old self, I guess, or to like get him to face whatever it is that he's like blotting out. He gets to like a magic altar, which makes him see what's going on in the past. Just as like 3 wolves are coming to get him.
Yeah.
They just back off. He's like, he made it. Never mind. Bugger.
Oh, we can't get him on the altar. That's rude.
We'll get him next time. Never mind. Yeah. These wolves just inexplicably don't come back as well, which is great.
Yeah.
I think like the altar just appears somewhere else later on, which is pretty nuts. But yeah, we get
Why not?
We get a more complete version of the flashback here, where Mum gets killed, and Dad is fighting the Hell Warrior, is what I've got in my notes. It's like,
why not?
We see the big CGI budget of this film coming up throughout this fight.
Yeah.
He's got like a weird like double scythe thing, which I've never seen before. But yeah, I do like we see he throws the sword up into the air and it impales him through the back of the neck, and that turns him to stone. It makes him the sword in the stone rather than I think that's a pretty cool take, honestly. I don't know if that's in reference to an actual legend, but like I like it. If not, like if that's something that Guy Ritchie invented for the script, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And my note for that was just cool.
Yeah. Sweet. I could do that for like the whole movie, I think. That would like sum up this podcast pretty quick.
You've just got a couple A4 sheets where you just written cool, full stop. Cool, full stop.
Yeah, I could do that. Oh, maybe next time.
Yeah. There was a couple things like Eric Bana, before impaling himself, says, "Run, son," and then Pink Floyd say, "You run and you run."
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right, I like it.
And then the sun is the same.
Yep.
In the relative way. The sun O, sorry, is the same as his father in terms of being gifted with the blade.
Yo, the Legend of the Sword.
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. The Legend of Pink Floyd. I love it.
Yeah. And then they say the song is over when the magic of the sword gets trapped into the stone near Banner.
Yeah. Thought I had something more to say. No, apparently not. Right.
No, turn to stone.
Turn to stone, mate. Sorry.
I think if any band were most likely to get turned into stone for a couple centuries and then have to turn back, it would be Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I that makes sense to me. And like the album cover is them
we don't
like
need to explain why.
No, the album cover is them like all like made like them as statues frozen in time with like a big sword
covered in moss. Yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah. So yeah, the Mage Tower is the next bit. That's being built by Vortigern. This isn't like properly explained, but I think it's Mordred had a big tower, and that's what gave him his fireball magic. How he could control the big elephants, etc. And so Vortigern's like copying that, trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. There's that classic like he's building a big phallic tower, he's a villain kind of thing as well, but we don't need to talk about that.
Nah, we're going to move on.
We've already discussed enough mermaid sex.
Yeah. We're going to do a mermaid sex spin-off podcast where...
Oh, God.
Yeah. Look forward to that.
It's you, me, Guillermo del Toro, and Melissa Broder, who wrote The Pisces, just
hashing it out.
Getting into how it works.
Yeah, how would it go down?
We'll get the people who made The Lighthouse in there as well.
Okay. Man.
Anyway.
That's a stacked cast for a podcast.
Yeah.
Man, everyone's going to be talking...
There was a New York Times article about, why is there so much people wanting to have sex with fish in pop culture at the moment? Yeah. And they couldn't figure it out.
We'll get to the bottom of it.
But they did come away... Yeah. They came away with, people don't usually want to have sex with fish when society's going wild. So,
That's a great point. Yeah. It's like, oh man, things are turning to shit. I've got to seek new avenues for enjoyment here.
Yeah.
Got to think outside the box.
Aquarium.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Anyway.
Jude Law starts yelling at his guard exactly when the great gig vocals come in.
Yeah, he does. He's very pissed off about this tower not being built.
Yeah. He also genuinely looks like he's hurt the guard's feelings. The guard doesn't look like a tough boy anymore. He's just like, excuse me?
It's Mercia, right? It's a second in command guy that he's yelling at, yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Mercia.
I just was like, oh.
He gets a rough go of it in this film, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. Old mate, the boys Backlack and Wetstick have shown up at the hideout. I just love saying their names.
Yeah.
They're updating Arthur on all the bad stuff that's been going on. They introduce a character called Mischief John.
Yes, I wrote that down and I was like, what does that mean? But yeah, you're right.
We just know, everyone just knows who Mischief John is, apparently. It's
I'm gonna start calling you Mischief James.
Oh, I kind of like it. It sets a lot of expectations up, though. I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that. Not so much with the association with Mischief John and his antics, but that's fine.
He was a bad dude.
Anyway, poor Blue Boy is here as well. He just sort of gets ordered around this whole film. This little kid. Backlack's son, not so good.
No.
But yeah, Arthur resolves. He's like, all right, so I'm going to kill the king. Here we go.
Yeah. They get their, scheme going to money.
Yeah. That's right. It's scheme time.
Yeah.
We're getting, more Guy Ritchie scheme. It's montage as we're going over this. We're interrupting all of Vortigern's plans, sinking some ships, etc. Yeah. There's another, unnamed female character here who's just part of this crew, has a line, and then never reappears.
Yeah. Huh.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, well.
That's how it goes, apparently.
They talk about how he's going to travel by barge when, the little Pink Floyd sample says cruising for a bruising.
Yeah.
Because his barge is going to take him to be almost assassinated.
He is cruising for a bruising, this king. He's on a one-way path to destruction. Yeah. It's not looking good. And that's, what Maid Maggie says to him in the boat as well. Yeah, he still can't. Oh, Arthur can't face his past, but yeah, they're like planning this like assassination, you know. So they're going ahead with it, even though he can't use the sword still. Yeah, they're planning it. More Guy Ritchie heist stuff here. After all this stuff, they're like, okay, we've drawn the king out, and we're gonna get him. Goose Fat Bill is gonna shoot an arrow from 175 yards away and kill the king, because that's something that Goose Fat Bill can do.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's got an indistinct. Goose Fat's got an indistinct beef with Mercia as well. He doesn't like Mercia. I think just because he like locks him up all the time. But
yeah, true.
Yeah, he ends up. The king knows about the plan. He like figures it out and sends a double. But Goose Fat's like whatever and just shoots Mercia anyway because he's there.
Yeah.
Shoots him clean through the neck as well. Like no.
Yeah.
Like you don't even see the like entry-exit wound. He just starts like bleeding and dies.
It's that classic movie like, you missed. Did I?
Did I miss? And then the guy falls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Always
just
good to see. You love to see it.
He also just like starts randomly shooting people that he doesn't like, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that happens alongside the good manners don't cost nothing ad-lib line again as well.
Yeah.
It's not good manners just to be popping off random black legs. Absolutely not.
Not at all.
No. Got a lot to learn, Goose Fat. Alright, and then they start escaping. In a blink and you'll miss it, like, shot, one of these extras has the biggest burgundy top hat.
I missed that. I did blink.
It is massive. Like, it's really hard to find. About 1 hour, 14 minutes into this film, people, if you want to look up this boy. It's a ridiculous hat. It's great. I only caught it, like, very quickly, but I was just like, oh, I've got to make a note of that. I love him.
Yeah.
Tell me more about this haberdashered man. It's fantastic.
Well, if they'd got their 6 sequels, he would have been in them.
Oh, he would have been a vital character. He's a plant for the next for movie 4. Yeah, old mate Backlack gets stabbed, and then he finds his own way back to the safe house. There's some really, really bad shoulder-mounted camera shots. A lot of films do this. Like with The Hobbit, they had the like GoPro footage, and here they use the shoulder shots, and they all say the same line. They've all been like ordered to just like yell out "move" and nothing else, and they play that 4 times. Like it's really bad. But yeah, we got all these shots. We better use all of them right here.
Yeah, people want this movie to be real long, right?
Yeah,
we've spent the money. We better, show that we did.
Yeah, we show your work, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the line "What the fighting's all about" plays over there as well.
Yeah.
When they're getting chased down, they bust into like a seamstress shop. And old mate Rubio, who I don't think I've mentioned before, he's like a blonde kid. He's not doing so hot. He's like, I think he's been stabbed or like roughed up as well. But yeah, he like sacrifices himself to get the others pass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rubio's not super important. He's had some lines. He's on Sir Bedevair's crew, but like he's just sort of a backgroundy guy. Meanwhile, we arrive at Chinese George's Kung Fu Zone in the middle of Britain, in Britonia.
Which is my favourite part of
here.
the theme parks.
Yeah, the Kung Fu Zone. Very enjoyable. Yeah. All these boys are like ready to fight some blacklegs, and they're all way too macho to like escape down this hole. They're all saying like, "Oh, I'm afraid of the dark. I can't do it, mate." Oh, it's some silly stuff.
Yeah. And even Arthur seems to be like,
we get brain damage starting up as this battle starts. Just like random kung fu people fighting these guardsmen. Arthur like faces his fears as like I think the inspiration is that the like mage gets a knife to her throat. So again, like a patriarchy kind of motivator here. Bit bad, but yeah, he's like, oh, I've got to face my fears, and he uses the sword in a great display of CGI tech. lots of like shock waves. I think the powers of the sword are that like it can cause massive shock waves, and it also like slows down time by about half.
Okay.
And then it's like also like indestructible, I guess. It can shatter.
Yeah.
It can shatter other swords and things like that. But yeah, it's that appears to be the extent of the powers. Pretty good though. Yeah, he like takes down a whole bunch of blacklegs, and then they escape down the hole. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There's a moment where like everyone just kind of looks around at each other like, holy moly, that sword.
Yeah.
And it's almost like Guy Ritchie was just like, I made this movie, this fantasy movie.
Whoa!
Look at that! Look at me, guys!
Look at me! I've got all this.
That's pretty cool.
I've got all this money, guys. I'm gonna use it all.
Yeah.
Pretty fun. Yeah. Old mate, Blue Boy is back. There's like a sort of subplot here where he like wants to find his dad because his dad Backlack's been stabbed and is trying to make his own way back home.
Yeah.
It's like it's sort of shoehorned in. I feel like he's like the heart of the movie in that like he's like, oh, go on without my son, you know, that kind of vibe throughout. Yeah. And then everyone's seen the sword, so they're all backing Arthur now. They're all like, oh, this is the true king, the guy with the magic sword, obviously. And so, yeah, they're all like rioting in the streets, very intense stuff. The mage is saying, like, the people are believing in you, so it's time to do it. It's time to go.
Yeah.
And poor Backlack shows up at the safe house, but he's too far gone. And he's going to stick around. There's like a weird altercation scene with the king shows up and Mischief John shows up.
Ugh, Mischief John.
Yeah, we're in playthrough 3 now.
Yeah,
they're all here and they're like interrogating him about the assassination attempt. But yeah, the boy runs back. This is like I feel like this is like a plot point from another Guy Ritchie movie that he's just put in this film.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
He just like crammed a short film he had. Like I'm just like all right.
Yeah. The boy like pretends to be the cleaning boy, but blows it when his old Vortigern's he cuts off the ear of Backlack here. Pretty ruthless, and like does the thing where he like talks into the severed ear, which is just
don't love that.
No, pretty nasty.
Yeah, very villainous.
Very villainous. It's again, like I feel like this is the kind of thing that could happen in like Lock, Stock, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But old mate Backlack, he gets his throat cut. Very sad. The boy gets like saved by Arthur, and then they drift off into the fog. Yeah, Blue Boy like doesn't really show up again, but like apart from holding the crown at the end. But that's the end of his story. Very sad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Look.
Because of this...
So then...
no, you go, yeah.
Alright. No, you were going to do some film analysis.
Okay, yeah. I was just saying that, like, this is kind of a weird thing in that, like, Arthur's, like, mad at the sword here.
Yes, yeah, that's what I was going to say as well.
I don't really understand.
He doesn't want it for some reason.
I guess.
Maybe he can't face being the king, but he buries it in some mud, and then a magic mud lady brings him underwater and shows him his mistake.
Yeah, this is the Lady of the Lake, like the classic.
Yes,
the classic story of how the sword was delivered originally. But yeah, it's kind of weird that it's just in like a muddy puddle.
Yeah,
but that's magic for you, I guess.
Yeah,
it's sort of a superfluous sequence here, in that like he throws the sword away, and then like I think within the same minute he has it back.
Yeah,
but hey, it's fine. On the Run plays over this as well, which is like matches how weird it is.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when the clean hand comes out of the mud. It felt very like similar to that sounds of On the Run.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. That's all good. Anyway, the plan is now that he's got the sword and it's all good, they're gonna attack the castle. They're gonna go on the front door. You know? And but oh no, Blue Boy is still in the film. He's been kidnapped. Blue Boy and the mage get kidnapped inexplicably. By Mischief John is at the hideout just being a bastard. Yeah. He's like the most Cockney man alive. He keeps saying like good
yes.
evening to people.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very funny. Talking about like missing dinner with his wife.
Yeah, and she's gonna be
Oh
mad.
mate, it's classic Cockney bants. I'm into it. Yeah, but they.
So yeah,
No, go ahead.
they rescue the mage.
Yep.
Through like King Arthur will be back in a day if you give us the mage. Then the mage goes to King Arthur and does something I've written down as snake magic.
Yeah, they trade the sword for the mage here. Because
yeah.
sword for mage, Arthur for the boy is the deal that's arranged. But yeah, then it's like snake magic time. She like
Yeah, I loved the snake.
it's really good. Like a snake coils out of the mage's sleeve and bites him on the neck. And she says like he's like I don't like snakes, and she's like no one likes snakes, dude. Chill out.
That snake's right there.
Yeah,
Be a bit polite.
be nicer to the snake. You're gonna love snakes after this next scene, I tell you what. Yeah, there's like a weird sequence where he's delivering himself to the tower. There's like a pop cover of something happening here, like a weird song for the actual movie.
Original music.
Yeah, we can't hear it. It's just some strange lyrics.
Yeah.
About returning home, like a folksy song. I don't know. Yeah, and then we're back at the castle. They put him on his knees as the line "Call the faithful to their knees" happens.
What? Nice.
Yeah, like it. And then Great Gig is playing, and you think that there's a snake that gets delivered by an eagle to this meeting.
Very good. Yeah.
And then, but it's just a plant to get the sword like embedded in a pillar.
Yeah.
Vortigern
So Jude Law kills that snake, and then he's like, this was a mistake. And
yeah, can't grab the sword, it's trapped.
I said Miss Snake.
And then, another big old snake shows up. I think this is the snake from earlier in the Badlands sequence where
okay.
he's come back and writhing around the palace, eats Mischief John.
Yeah.
This is just some more fun fantasy stuff. Giant snakes, I'm all for it. Love it.
Yeah, I love the snake.
Overly...
The snake definitely listens to Pink Floyd.
Oh yeah, big time. Oversized animals are another one of my great loves. Dumb fantasy names and oversized animals. Send them to me. In combination, that's the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arthur's not frightened of dying, and they say not frightened of dying. There's like little ad-libby bit. As the snake like bears its fangs at Arthur in a show of respect or power or whatever. And then Arthur grabs the sword, and then his boys are freeing all of Vortigern's slaves in the yard.
Yeah, the slaves kind of run out as soon as the vocals and Great Gig kind of kick in.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's all ramping up now. Vortigern decides he's like, shit, it's all gone bad. I need to go to the Sirens and do another murder. And so he kills his daughter here, who previously has had a bunch of like caged bird imagery, which is classic like unappreciated daughter stuff, I guess, is the motif that they're going for. She's like locked away in the tower or whatever. But yeah, she gets stabbed. Vortigern seems cut up about it, but I don't know, mate. He's black-hearted at this point. But yeah, he's got to do what he thinks he has to do. You know, he got to turn into a Hell Knight somehow. It's the only way. Yeah, and then Arthur's like he drags the sword along the ground. Very bad for the sword. Not into that.
It's not good sword care.
The sword itself, I haven't mentioned this, but they've gone for like a Damascus steel sort of design for it, which is like a mythical sword production technique from years and years ago. But it gives it that like cool like rippled patterned effect on it, you know? Yeah, so it's in reference to like an actual like mythical sword making technique that would explain why it's such a great sword, you know. So I think that's
cool. That's good.
I think that's a pretty cool touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not treating it with respect and dragging it along the ground, and then has a big CGI battle against some blacklegs. This is
Yeah.
This is kind of like Guy Ritchie using it for action. There's like bunch of like sped up motion and then like still freeze frames of this battle, you know.
The camera's like jumping around. It's a lot like, and I don't know if this happens in many video games, but I feel like when you have a cutscene, but you're allowed to steer the camera around, and you're just bored, and you're like, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, actually, pretty similar vibe. This whole like all the CGI scenes, like this fight and later on the fight against the Hell Knight, are all very video gamey feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like classic final boss coming up later on the like island in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a fun sequence. Eventually, the Blacklegs like give up and throw down their swords at the exact end of the vocals in Great Gig as well.
Oh yes,
pretty nice. Money is coming in now as Arthur's he's heading to the tower and the boys are fighting in the courtyard, etc. Vortigern's already killed his daughter and then offers her up to the sirens who are into it. There's a really cool...
Imagine if they weren't.
They're like, nah, never mind.
That's not what we meant.
Mate, we just wanted some gold. I'm trying to tell you, we're too cryptic. I'm sorry. Cool shot of like the tentacle like wrapping around the dead daughter. I thought that was like quite very sinister. I was like, ooh, you know. But yes, the tower like lights up in reaction to the sword here, and like teleports Arthur to the final boss arena, as you do.
Very video game.
Yeah, there's like
to be like, we don't want to make you walk it.
Nah, mate. There's like there's a cutscene that plays. And then he's like, there's crashing waves and 3 big stone pillars and an altar. It's like, it's so silly.
Yeah.
Also, this is where the elephants were summoned from earlier, out of the rocks. Yeah. So it's the dark magic world or whatever. I don't know. So Hell Knight Vortigern's here. He shoots a fireball at him, and then they're fighting each other. You know, classic stuff.
Yeah.
Arthur sees the final version of the flashback here. This is kind of weird. It's sort of like he's intervening in his own memory. He catches adult Arthur catches the sword and prevents Uther from dying, which I guess is him like taking up the mantle of what Uther set out for him. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, very weird.
A bit confusing as to what.
Because there's so much magic in here that kind of they haven't dived too deep into. You're sort of like, could he have? Did he actually change time?
Yeah.
And then you kind of realize he did it?
Nah, it's just like, I think this is like metaphorical, like taking place in his mind as he's like lying down or whatever. But anyway, Arthur reveals that it's Vortigern's actions that gave him the drive to take up the mantle of the king. It's like he made him, basically. And we also get the cruising for a bruising line here as well. Because Vortigern definitely is cruising for a bruising.
Oh yeah.
Just to reiterate.
It's also good because it's like, you know what gives me such drive? And then Pink Floyd go, money! Nah, that'd be funny if that was.
Oh mate, if only. Oh, this poor filmmaker. Like, I can't believe that this didn't make its budget back. It's such a shame.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, there was a Hollywood... Have I already talked about this?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. There's a Hollywood accountant who was quoted weirdly by Entertainment Weekly just being like, how did they spend that much money making this movie? They could have made it for like 80 million.
Oh, wow. I don't know.
What did they do? So maybe there's some sort of money laundering trick.
Maybe. I think it just went deep on the CGI would be my bet, but...
Yeah.
I'm no expert. I don't know. But yeah, that's my take. Anyway, us and them, the organ is playing over Vortigern's death. He's stabbed and he crumples onto the altar. Yeah. And that crumbles away. And then, Arthur pieces out, and we've got, like, the end of the film wrapping up now.
Yeah,
there's, like, a funeral for the fallen again. This mirrors the, like, mages getting burned on pyres sequence. Like, burning all the bad guy bodies, I guess. Then there's, like, some weird jokes about the building of this round table. These guys have never seen a table before, so they're like, oh, is it a wheel of cheese? Yeah, it's ridiculous that they're like, what is it? I don't understand. It's like, guys, just look. You can figure it out. It's not that hard. Oh, but anyway, yeah, they're having some.
Yeah.
Arthur like renegotiates with the Vikings and like leverages having a magic sword basically to get them in line. Yeah. The crew gets knighted to be knights.
They all get way more boring names,
Yeah.
like just Sir William instead of Sir Goosefat Bill.
I mean, Sir Wetstick doesn't really work. Not so good. So,
are you going to call me Sir Wetstick if I call you Mischief James in public?
no, I don't think I'd do that.
Oh, thank you.
I'm too good of a friend to do that, I think.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, yeah, that's it. They're sort of doing this knighting, I think, as a setup for the sequel. It's like, here we are. We've got the table. It's ready to go. It's time for more adventures. Get excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of it. We just see, like, the eagle fly away, and he gets crowned and holds the sword up for everyone to see. Remember the sword?
Yeah.
Here it is.
The legend of it.
The legend of the sword. And that's it. We get...
Yeah.
It's credits time. Easy.
What? Oh my goodness.
What a film. What a
film.
What a romp.
The weird thing is, because he made this is probably what was the proof of concept for Guy Ritchie to then make his next film.
Yeah.
This live action remake of Aladdin.
Yeah, I can't believe that was him as well. Like, I haven't seen the live action remake of Aladdin, but from what I hear,
neither.
it's not very Guy Ritchie-y. So maybe he reins it in. I don't know. We'll see.
Because then he makes the most Guy Ritchie film ever next with
The Gentleman.
The Gentleman.
Yeah, that's like Guy Ritchie. Here are all my favorite actors. You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an American version of his film. But anyway.
Yeah,
that's it. Cool.
Yeah.
What do we think? What do we think? How did it sink, Gareth?
Why have we not said that before? That's such a good little catchphrase.
I'm going to say it every time from now on, if I remember.
Yeah, which knowing us, we'll completely forget. Like, we forgot to mention that we faked our own deaths.
Yeah.
A few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's fine. It's all good.
What did we think? How did it sink?
Yeah, there were a lot of good syncs, I thought. Like, synced up pretty well. Like, lots of musical syncs and also, like, just lines lining up with things happening on the screen. Gosh, what we're doing is a silly idea. I just, like, caught myself saying these things. I'm like, man, this is bizarre. But anyway, it did sync pretty well, I think. Pretty good.
Yeah. I think it's the similar thing to what we had in Speed Racer, where it's so bonkers that it distracts a little from the sync.
Very true. I would say it's not on the same level as Speed Racer, and that it's not flying by at 1,000,000 miles an hour. There is still like a bunch of action throughout, but it's not like I was able to catch I wasn't like run off my feet taking notes for this one as much as I was for Speed Racer, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think. Pretty good. I feel good about it. I want to go 7. I'm feeling
I'm going to go 7,
decent 7 out of 10.
7.
A decent clean 7. Mark it on the graph.
Decent clean 7.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to do? Any podcast dirty laundry we need to air before?
I've got the dirtiest laundry to air, James. Last week, I promised us I was going to work out how many hours we've listened to Dark Side of the Moon doing this project.
Oh my god, am I ready to find this out? Oh, I'm excited to...
Are you staring out of a window at the moment?
I am wistfully, absolutely.
Okay,
as is my want.
Okay. So we've spent 1,502 minutes listening to Dark Side of the Moon.
No!
Which is 25 hours and 2 minutes, or 1 day, 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like too many.
I know, right?
Oh my god. That's out of control.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's like, what is it? We're 1/10 of the way to becoming true experts. That means 10,000 hours is the classic, right? We will know this album succinctly inside and out by that stage. Man, I can't believe how quickly we reached that number. Okay, cool.
I know, right? Oh. I think it's thanks to Avatar and The Fate of the Furious, really.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm okay with it for now. We'll see how worn down we are coming up. But yeah,
Well, it's going to get to the point where we don't need to hear Dark Side of the Moon because we can just know beat by beat what's happening.
it'll be playing inside our minds. Yeah, we'll be able to
Yeah.
sync it from within.
Yeah.
Very exciting. It'll become part of
we'll
our
dream being able
DNA.
to sync from within.
Yeah, sync from within. All right. You got the only thing left to do is to tell me what we're doing next week, mate.
Okay.
Lay it on me. I'm all ears.
All right. So, a lot of what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect the album with something. We're trying to find something that all along no one knew was the perfect double of this album. It's like we're trying to reconnect long lost twins in a big way.
Yep.
And it reminded me of these two twins who got reconnected at a summer camp.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why we're watching The Parent Trap.
I put it together halfway through there. I'm pretty happy with that.
Oh, good job.
Oh man, great. Okay. Are we watching the original
Yeah.
or the one with the two Lindsay Lohans?
The one with the two Lindsay Lohans, please.
Okay.
1998's The Parent Trap.
All right. Sweet. Lock it in, listeners.
Yeah.
It's
It's going to be a good time.
catch us at Sync Floyd Pod on Twitter. At Sync Floyd Pod everywhere else, I think, as well. Syncfloydpod at gmail.com. Yeah, that's it. Until then.
Yeah. Oh, until then, I've been Gareth Blackwell.
And I've been James Barron.
And we'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
On the dark side of the moon. Whoa. Very sensual this week.